It's the queen from Queens with the money when it matters for you and I. It's the queen from Queens with the money when it matters for you and me. It's the
Here we
queen
go,
from
y'all.
Queens with the
This
money
is
when it
it.
matters.
The Queen from Queens, Paula Roberts of Roberts Target Financial, had a vision for this conference about a year and a half ago. She felt a gravitational pull to release and share the information about wealth, being debt-free. Debt is a disease that can be cured, and creating a legacy. I'm very proud of the woman she has become. And the finale of the show, Paula Roberts, the queen from Queens, please teach the people what goats do. But before we get to you, it looks like Rhodesia has a special treat for this
It's the
event.
queen from Queens with the money when it matters
Let's
for
hear it,
you
Rhodesia.
and I. It's the queen from Queens with the money when it matters for you and me. It's the queen from Queens with the money when it matters. Listen and learn. It's the queen from Queens with the money when it matters. Y'all come and see.
Build your dreams up with Paula. She got ya. She can reach your goals and soar. She will keep your mind on the dollar. That's a disease that can be cured.
It's the queen from Queens with the money when it matters for you and I. It's the queen from Queens with the money when it matters for you and me. It's the queen from Queens with the money when it matters. Listen and learn. It's the queen from Queens with the money when it matters. Y'all come and see.
These are the money minutes that matter with Paula, that's for sure. Get your money right when your money's tight. For debt, she's got the cure. She knows the way to help you save your money today. Build a budget, grow your wealth, nurse your health. Come on, don't delay. With her advice to learn how to allocate, don't hesitate. Wait, this is the day to elevate your health, your wealth, and everything else. Get money saved no matter what is dealt. There's a disease that thrives, that ruins our lives. It's yet you bet, but sure we can fight it. You know that she'll help. Not her, then who else? No in between, she'll make it a scene. Cause
It's the queen from Queens with the money when it matters for you and I. It's the queen from Queens with the money when it matters for you and me. It's the queen from Queens with the money when it matters. Listen and learn. It's the queen from Queens with the money.
It's the queen from Queens with money minutes matters for you and I. Boom, boom, boom. It's the queen from Queens with money minutes matters for you and me. Save sound. Hi guys, this is Paula. I want to thank you all for being here. Can you guys hear me? It's weird when you're talking to yourself.
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes.
I've got to thank P. Scott Productions for that theme song. It's the queen from Queens. I honestly listen to it every day. It gets me pumped up. That's my theme song. When I go walking in 32 degrees, I'm out there. It's the queen from Queens. It's the queen from Queens. Anyway, I need to thank the recording artist Rhodesia for her rendition. I didn't know it was coming, and she was like, "Look what I got for you." So it was so fun. I am having such a blast, and I hope you guys are too. Our whole intention here was as a community to serve our community. I need to thank P. Scott. I need to thank Dre Drizzle. He is the young man who did all my social media commercials. There are some phenomenal people within our network. And I want to thank you guys. But with all that being said, I want to get back to the conference. Let's make sure my clicker's working. Do what the GOATs do. And when I say GOATs, I don't mean bah. No. I mean greatest of all times. Let's get back to the show. Now, when I left you with some food for thought. And my food for thought was, what did the three owners of Airbnb do so that when they IPO'd in December 2020, these brothers had $100 billion? Not 100 million, $100 billion. What does that look like or sound like? But I'm telling you, it's possible. They found a solution to a problem. As a Christian woman, I believe that God is omnipotent, He's omnipresent, He's omniscient. He's all-seeing, all-knowing, all-doing. He is everywhere. God was not watching CNN saying, oh me, Donald Trump is beating Hillary. Oh me, Donald Trump won. No. God didn't roll over out of a cloud and say, the earth is being attacked by COVID. No, He didn't do that. Nor did God sit back in wonder and amazement to see what those thugs and vigilantes did to George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, and Trayvon Martin, and the countless numbers of Black and Brown and Native American people within this country. God wasn't surprised. Let's revisit 2020. In my opinion, and everybody has one, so this is mine, Donald Trump is like Pharaoh with a hardened heart. Because he had a hardened, vindictive heart, he removed the commission that monitored pandemics. And for that reason, everyone was put on timeout. Not just here in America, but across the world. So the world watched. They watched the inhumanity. They watched. And because that happened, changes are coming. I am so thankful to the civil rights leaders of yesterday and my dad. Because of them, I can. I am equally as proud of the protesters of today. Because they are, they will. During the Great Depression, more American millionaires were created than any other time in our nation. If COVID-19 is your time, what are you doing to be creative, to become prosperous, and to build wealth? Are you willing to work? Are you willing to solve someone's problem? 80% of all millionaires and billionaires are first generation. They're called the nouveau riche. They're rich without an inheritance. Let's look at some of today's GOATs. GOATs, the greatest financial people of today. GOATs, greatest of all time, but of today. America has more than 600 American millionaires. There's Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, Larry Ellison, Warren Buffett, and the Waltons. You guys know the Waltons? I don't mean the show, Good Night Mom, Good Night Pa, Good Night John Boy. No, not those Waltons. The Waltons who own Walmart. You know Walmart? We get our underwear, we get our toiletries, we get our groceries, we cash our checks, we pay our bills there. Yeah, those Walmarts. Together, that family have a net worth of more than $200 million. That was 200 billion, by the way. Let's look at this list. Each year, Forbes puts out a list of the richest people in the world. They put out a list in 2020 of the richest Latin Americans in 2020. Now, I'm going to do my best. I contacted one of my best friends and said, hey, help me with my enunciation. So you have Carlos Elu, you have Joseph Safra, you have Richard Pelego, you have Herman Velasco, you have Iris Fontbono, and you have Jorge Limon. There are countless numbers of Latinx billionaires. You can't classify them by their last names. You can't classify them by the regions. Not all Puerto Ricans live in New York. Not all El Salvadorians live in Maryland. And not all people from Cuba live in Miami. You can't classify them because of their dialects. There's tons of Spanish dialects. They largely make their money or their wealth in beverages, finances, and in technology. I want to talk to you guys about two American Latinx billionaires. The first one is Ernest Garcia II. He was a high school dropout. He got into trouble with the law. He later got his bachelor's degree in Arizona. He started buying up homes. Remember, wealth gap homes? Then he bought a bankrupt rental car service, was called Ugly Duckling. He started selling used cars. Mr. Ernest Garcia has a net worth of greater than $5.6 billion. Have you guys ever heard of Carvana? Carvana is a vending machine for cars. Ernest Garcia III created that. His legacy was from Ernest Garcia II, cars and car dealerships. This young man has a net worth of over $2 billion. There are 35,000 African Americans in our country, and a number of them are right here in front of the camera and working this camera to ensure that we get what we need to build wealth. Dennis Kimbrough outlined 7 laws of wealth. There are 7 African American billionaires. Let's see if we can line them up. Law 1, wealth begins in the mind and ends in the purse. Tyler Perry has a net worth of $1 billion. He was born in poverty in Louisiana. His family never went out to dinner. He was raised by a loving mother, and he was hated by his father. He suffered physical and sexual abuse throughout his entire childhood. He tells a story of one day clinging to a chain link fence while his father beat him to a bloody pulp. Tyler Perry wanted to commit suicide. One day he was watching the Oprah Winfrey show, and he heard and he believed that writing can be therapeutic. He decided to create characters of the African American experience. Medea is one of those characters. She's that nosy old lady in all of our neighborhoods who wants to fix things. Law 2 says, decide that you will not be poor. JayZ has a net worth of $1 billion. Poor is not in his makeup. JayZ is a hustler. JayZ said, I'm not a businessman. He said, I'm a business man. JayZ was born to a single mother in the projects of Brooklyn. He was a high school dropout. He sold crack. He got shot 3 times. JayZ's uncle said, you will never sell 100,000 records. JayZ said, and I quote, I will not lose even in defeat. There's a valuable lesson to be learned, and it evens up for me. Law 3 says, believe in thyself when no one else will. Kanye West has a net worth of $1.3 billion from music and from his Yeezy line. And we all know Kanye West believes in Kanye West. Law 4 says, to thine own self be true, find your own unique gifts. His Ernest. His Ernest is true to the game of basketball as a player, to basketball as an owner. He's true to the game of golf. He is now a race car owner. Michael Jordan's net worth is $1.6 billion. Michael Jordan believes he can fly. Law 5 says, how may I serve you? Ms. Winfrey is the epitome of serving people. She allows us all to be seen. That shows value in people. Oprah Winfrey was born to a teenage mother from a one-night stand. Her grandmother raised her for the first few years. Her grandmother was a washerwoman. Her grandmother wanted Oprah to serve some good white people. Her mother rejected her, but she wasn't deterred. At 20 years old, Oprah Winfrey made $20,000, and she was ecstatic at the thought of being in a position to make $30,000 when she was 30 years old. She runs a media empire. Her net worth is $2.5 billion. I had the pleasure of going to her 2020 vision tour last year in my hometown of Brooklyn. Her motto was, I can, I will, watch me. Law 6 says, thou shalt own thy own business. Does anyone know what worldwide technology is? Worldwide technology is the largest African-American business in our country, and is owned by David Steward. He was born in Chicago. He was raised in Clinton, Missouri, or Missouri, as they call it. This was during the height of segregation. He knew many separate and unequal policies. He faced lots of discrimination. His mom was a stay-at-home mom, and his dad was a mechanic. In 1967, he integrated a public pool. Mr. Steward is the second richest African-American in our country with a net worth of $3.7 billion. Law 7 says, make thy money grow. Robert F. Smith is the richest African-American. He has a net worth of more than $5.2 billion. He grew up in a middle-class African-American community. Both his parents were educators. He tells a story that when he was in high school, he wanted to get an internship at Bell Labs. He called them, hi, my name is Robert Smith. I'd like to have a summer internship. They said, sorry, it's only for college students. The following Monday, hi, my name is Robert Smith. I'm in high school. I'd like to get an internship. Sorry, son, this is for college students only. He called back repeatedly. Every Monday he called back. One Monday he called and an MIT student didn't show up. And let us say, it is all history. He's known for his philanthropy. In 2019, he was a commencement speaker at Morehouse University. He donated $34 million to that graduating class to eliminate their student loan debt as well as the Parent Plus loans. Giving makes your money grow. What do you believe? What do you believe that they didn't believe? In the beginning, what did they have that you didn't have? What are you willing to sacrifice to get it? It all requires a mindset shift. Follow the GO.A.Ts. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. This slide, I understand if you guys didn't see from my first presentation because we would have some technical malfunctions. But this slide is from Dennis Kimbrough of Think and Grow Rich, a Black choice. He says, the poor keep score by cars and clothes. The middle class keeps score by degrees and titles. The wealthy keep scores by their bank accounts. What are the steps to being a success and steps to becoming an entrepreneur? You have to change people, places, and things. Everyone can't go with you. That may mean your friends, and it may mean your family. You may need to say, you need to get behind me. What are you able to do to build wealth? Can you find a solution to a problem and meet others' needs? There's a member of my family who gets up every morning at 5:30 and he does Instacart. He goes out at 5:30, he's back at home by 12:30. His goal is to make a minimum of $300 a day. At the rate he's going, he will make more than $100,000 in this year alone. And he's wise because he asked me some questions. He is investing, he's putting money away, and by this time next year, he will be a real estate owner and be renting properties. What's your passion? What's your goal? What are you willing to do for free? Everyone here today volunteered their time in front of the camera as well as behind the camera because we believe in our community. We believe that we are empowered when we see people and know we can be what we can see. Study the GO.A.Ts. In anesthesia, we say, see one, do one, and teach one. You have to read every day. That's what William said to you. And he's intense with his intentionality. He reads every day. You got to read every day. You've got to grind it and then implement what you learn. You got to stop the distractions. Consider for 1 month, not forever, 1 month, turning off social media, turning off TV, and turning off negative people. JayZ turned off his uncle. You have to invest in you. You are your best asset, not what you wear, not what you drive, not where you live. This may mean going back to school. It may mean doing more seminars like this. It may mean finding a mentor. And a lot of my mentors are right here presenting to you today. You can go on YouTube. YouTube can teach you how to tie your shoes. It can teach you how to cook a meal, build a house, and to fix your car. Generational wealth is anything passed from generation to generation. It can be a recipe. It can be that you have your grandmother's sweet potato pie recipe. There are a number of people attending here today who cook from their kitchen and sell meals every weekend. It can be academics. You can be the doctor, the lawyer, or the politician. It can be a trade. Your father was a plumber and now you own a plumbing company. It can be religious beliefs. Like the song said, I had a praying grandmother. There are a number of pastors, elders, reverends, and ministers right here at this conference. My dad impressed upon us that a hard day's work equals a hard day's pay, and to always pay your bills on time. Generational wealth is also finances. My favorite book says we are to leave an inheritance to our children's children. This is my first home. My husband saved $200 a month for 5 years. He put 5% down. We bought this house for $210,000. We lived there for 11 years. When we left that house, we sold it for more than double what we paid for it. That's what Antoine is saying to you. Closing the wealth gap means home ownership. I put the Nielsen report in the back of this brochure that you can check out. Everything is hyperlinked, courtesy of our backstage team. 42 to 48% of African Americans and Latinx own their own home. Owning your own home means you build equity. You can pass it to your children. You can help pay for college. It can fund your retirement. Your home is not an ATM. As Antoine said, you don't refinance your house to put your credit cards and your car in there. No. There are also positive effects of owning your home. You get a say-so on what happens to your school. You get a say-so what happens in your community. You get a say-so about your local community politics. You are vested and you get a right to speak about it. This is my beautiful daughter, Alexia. Alexia is absolutely brilliant. She's our family's humanitarian. She wants to fix the world. Alexia is in her 4th or 5th years studying mechanical engineering. In 2018, she read Michelle Obama's book, Becoming, and she said, I'm going to be a lawyer. So now she's studying poli-sci as well. Alexia recognized that third world nations are basically their economy is based on tourism. And she knows that if you don't speak English, then you are not very likely to work in that industry. And if you don't have the finances, you can't fund your family, you can't fund your community. So Alexia decided in 2019, she was going to go to the hills of Chiang Mai. In the United Nations, most of the nations have agreed to educate their citizens to literacy. That means 6th grade is where free education stops in most countries. In the United States, we get free education until the 12th grade. When Alexia was there, she met a friend. Her friend is May Bunyan. May is an elephant. Alexia loved hanging out with May, and we have videos of May flapping her ears whenever Alexia would hang out with her. She hung out with her for several weeks throughout that summer. When Alexia was there, she had to take biodegradable soap, lotions, and deodorants. You see that water that she's standing in? That same water is where the people in that community use to drink, to cook their food, and to bathe. There are a lot of things in America that we take for granted, including our sewage system. We can make America great. Not great again, we can make America great. Elephants in Thailand are protected from decimation. There's an elephant here in this room. Is your credit score decimating you? W.E.B. Du Bois said, if you don't control your finances, you won't control anything else. This is a bar graph from TransUnion, and it numbers from 300 to 850. It goes from poor, fair, good, very good, and exceptional. My credit score is 836. I have an exceptional rating. It's not perfect, probably because I have a mortgage. Bank of America gives me my score and my 12-month scale or my 12-month score history every month. It numbered from February of 2020 to January of 2021. I can't tell you when my score has ever been less than 800. As a matter of fact, when we had massive consumer debt, our scores were still in the high 700s. They were constantly throwing money at us. They would throw application to us for 0% interest for 18 to 24 months. They would send us blank checks for $50,000, for $100,000. Why? Because we are good managers of someone else's money. They wanted us to use their money so we can amass interest and pay them our money. We didn't do that. The magic number for your credit score is 700. What's your score? Your score tells a story about you. It's a snapshot. I don't need you to send me a picture, a selfie. I don't even need you to FaceTime me. Your credit score tells us exactly who you are. Your credit score is made up by a different set of numbers within a pie chart. 35% of your credit score is your repayment history. Do you pay your bills on time? And if you're late by 30 days, it creates a blip. And guess what? Your score goes down. 30% of that is the amount of money that you owe of what's available to you. Meaning, if you have $10,000 available to you, you shouldn't use more than $3,000. 15% of that is your length of credit. How long have you had credit? If you're new to the credit game, they may give you $1,000 to see how you do with that. I've had my oldest credit card since 1994. It's a Bank of America Visa. It used to be Nations Bank, now it's Bank of America. I can't tell you the last time I used that card. 10% of your score is made up of, are you applying for new applications? And if you are, it says that you're risky. It says that maybe you're considering running up your debt. 10% of your score is the types of credit that you have. Do you have revolving debt, which is credit cards and store cards? Do you have installment debt like mortgage, car, and student loan debt? This breakdown and discussion of what I just showed you in that pie graph is available on my website, www.robertstargetfinancials.com. Download it, look at it, help you to understand how you can best manage your credit score. People always ask me, how can I fix my credit score? People can fix your credit score for you. They can deal with your creditors. They can comb through your credit report and try to find a blip. Some people are even hiring a lawyer for this information. There are also services that are called debt consolidators. They will lump all of your bills into one big bill. They'll negotiate with your creditors, get your interest rate down, and they'll continue to negotiate until it fits into what your budget is. Guess what? That also lowers your score. And if you use any of these services, you will pay. We are solving a problem for you. If I solve a problem for you, then you have to pay. I can teach you how to fish, or I can give you a fish dinner. The best way to correct your score is to pay off your debts. Using someone's money to build your business. It takes money to make money. We all know that. That money can come from generational wealth, which is what Antoine said. We're passing it down from person to person. It can come from friends and family. It can come from investors. It can come from venture capitalists, meaning people give you money and take a significant portion of your business. It can be coming from individuals, banks, communities. It can come from a host of different locations, but it's all based upon your credit score. Your credit score says that you can be trusted. I have a relative who recently bought a $2+ million business. The SBA, which is the Small Business Association, they financed this loan. And as Antoine said, you need to be on the side of those who know business. This individual had 6 months of their payments paid by the SBA. That's how it works. Even business debt is based upon your credit score. What's your score? Your score tells your story. Success begins in the mind. What's stopping you? You have the right to be the next million or billionaire entrepreneur. If you want the outcome, you need to follow the path. As I tell my children, if it was easy, anybody could do it. One of my best friends, she always said, just do it afraid. Fear is a part of the game, but it's possible you can do it. Let's create the paths to success. Follow the GO.A.Ts.
It's the queen from Queens with the money when it matters for you and I. It's the queen from Queens with the money when it matters for you.